the main event of the evening.
One mic.
Give me a moment, would you, friend? I've never been on trial for my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast. Carl Gerard, Brooklyn Dre, and JusMe. Back together again. And I'm trying not to laugh because you know we got to talk about Jussie. Smollett. Right,
Jussie.
Yeah. So we're going to get into the whole situation with my man here. Jussie. Was found guilty. Yes, you know very well, Jussie, that we didn't believe one bit of that story that you told the minute that you told it. Let's keep it all the way live, man. How y'all doing?
It's good to be back in the building.
Yes, good to have y'all back, man. I held back a little bit for this one, so that way we can all come together. Because when I first saw this, immediately I thought of the team. I said, we got to talk about what happened. Man, listen.
So we just gonna jump right in.
Let's jump right into it because, you know, neither one of us is from Chicago, but we are from a major city, and we know good and doggone well that there is nobody walking around with MAGA hats and nooses. First of all, how many of us are still eating Subway sandwiches?
Right.
Yeah, that's another red flag in itself. You know what I mean?
And he looked like one of them intellectual funboy vegans or something like that,
man. Oh my
God! Like he's eating pork at 2:00 in the morning in Chicago
with a kufi on,
with a polar vortex with not even a real coat, a really big sweater.
So I mean, if we
outside is him and them Africans. That's it.
It's like if you run down the whole situation, you know that he supposedly got attacked by some MAGA cats or something like that. And you saw the actual video, the surveillance video. I mean, it's not going to do it justice because it's audio and we're not live today. So, but what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can find this clip because.
Well, I mean, I just think he might have been set up by Lee Daniels. They used to go together. And then
no.
All of a sudden, he just wasn't on the show anymore. You know, they wrote him off the show, and then, I just think it's
that wasn't a setup, though. That wasn't no setup. He knew full well what they was doing. You know what I mean? I don't think, and I ain't caping for Lee Daniels at all, but I don't think that that he had anything to do with this at all. I think I think it was clout chasing going too far.
It's a very sticky situation.
Oh, your words, not mine.
Initially, I thought it was a bunch of fun boys just role playing or something like that in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
bunch of nasty fun boys just role playing.
Crazy.
So, crazy. This is. I mean, what they
Africans took it too far.
Y'all gotta break it down because there's people out there that might not even really know the story. There's always
everybody knows the story.
No, but just for the sake of
just GP.
All right, GP. So all right, here we go. We're gonna do with this one. This one is coming from CBS Morning. This is back in 2019 when the whole situation started. So hold on, I'm gonna play this for you.
Actor's neck. This video from a Chicago police body camera was taken inside Smollett's home in January at the time when he told police he was attacked. It's part of nearly 1,200 files, including more than 90 hours of footage, all newly released by the department. Adriana Diaz has the evidence that police say proves that the attack was actually a hoax.
Now, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay, now the listening audience cannot see this, but I suggest you go to CBS Morning, pull up new video from Jussie Smollett, hate crime case released. Now, if you look at this video, showing the cops, I guess checking him out, he's at his crib. He has a noose around his neck.
Right.
Now,
right.
I ain't no genius, but history has taught us there's no bright white nooses hanging around nobody's neck. This thing is whiter than white can be. And it looks like brand new. You know what I mean? So it's like that should have been a red flag in itself. Who's going to use a very clean noose? You know what I mean? Like
they're saying that it was Alaskan type weather. Who's rolling around in Alaskan type weather with a face mask on, gloves, a noose, a bottle of bleach, and a red MAGA hat?
Stalking
at 2:00 in the morning.
Stalking homosexuals at a Subway sandwich shop.
White people in Chicago in the middle of the night doing this. This is crazy.
All right, so here we go.
He is like a star. He works on the show Empire.
Police body camera video shows the moment officers first arrived at Jussie Smollett's apartment after the actor claimed he'd been attacked. Smollett still has what appears to be a noose around his neck.
Now he never took the noose off.
Never took the noose off.
No, he never took the noose off. So he has the sandwich and the noose. He's walking around with the noose on his neck now.
and the sandwich never got roughed up, man.
Never.
The sandwich never got roughed up. He never threw the sandwich or nothing to get nobody off of him.
Now listen, if you're listening to this is not an old show. We actually just recapping what happened. So go ahead.
Do you want to take it off for anything? Yeah, I do. I just want to see.
Smollett told police he was assaulted by two masked men, yelling racist and homophobic slurs. For more than 3 weeks, at least 24 detectives searched for the two men and investigated Smollett's claims. They eventually reached this conclusion.
Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process.
Police
the disgust on disgust on his face when he said that.
Hear it. I can't even see it, and you can hear it in his voice.
Yes.
Smollett paid.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. That old black man right there was ticked off about
Very
that. He's been on the
much
force
so.
for years. He's chasing down all kinds of murderers and criminals, and this goofball is around here doing this. He was heated.
Yeah,
he knew it a long time ago.
I feel bad for Journey.
That's the
his
sister. Yeah,
his sister's cool. Yes, Lovecraft Country and all of that. I feel bad for her because I would be so embarrassed if this was my brother.
I don't trust him. I don't trust the whole family at this point.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got nuts in our family too. But let me tell you something. When it's that close, they might all be off the tree, man.
All right, so now they're gonna talk about the two big Wakandan brothers that supposedly. Hold on, y'all gotta hear this one. Hold on.
Smollett paid brothers Abel and Ola Osendai Rowe to stage the attack because he was angry over his salary.
Oh, where we going?
Newly released videos show the brothers on their way to the scene of the attack.
So what's going on?
That's Ola. That's Ola.
Chicago's O'Hare Airport less than a month later. The brothers told police Smollett paid them to conduct the attack.
Yes, they did. Now, I'm going to stop right there and go to the other clip. Again, y'all can't see it, but I will, cite the source. I mean, y'all saw it, but the audience didn't see it.
Yeah.
This is WGN News. Surveillance video shows two brothers hours before alleged Jussie Smollett attack. Y'all can look that up on YouTube, but we're going to play you the clip. All right, check this out.
Now at 5:30, WGN has obtained surveillance video of those two brothers buying items likely used in the alleged attack.
Let's go to Tom Negovan, who's live on the north side with that story. Tom.
That's right, and that part of the story, Micah and Joe, does pertain to those brothers, the Arcendaro brothers, who've been talking to police and prosecutors at 26 and Cal, the Cook County Criminal Courthouse. We know they're there today. We know now where they were on Monday, January 28th, just hours before Jussie Smollett reported a hate crime in the Streeterville neighborhood. Take a look at the video of them on that day. Here in the Uptown neighborhood,
the two brothers are in a beauty supply
shop. What you're seeing them purchase are a couple of balaclavas or ski masks, along with some gloves that they bought at this nondescript shop in Uptown, and a red cap.
Now listen, so many.
Give it up, Jussie.
Yeah, I got so many questions here because the hair store obviously don't care what anybody buys, man.
You know what's sad?
Go ahead.
The sad thing is if he had paid the right, and I hate to use this word, but I'm not going to use it. If he had paid the right hood people, he could have got this off. He paid the wrong people. He paid the wrong guys. First of all, hood dudes ain't gonna go up in no Chinese spot to buy no masks and gloves because they know there's cameras up there.
Right.
And if the camera is pointed directly on top of them, the clerk, the store, everything. So it's like you seen
Chinese
everybody purchase. I mean, you can see like the stuff that they purchase, and I'm like, even the clerk is like, yo, like they buying ski masks. This is like going to the bank, bust one shot in the air, everybody get on the floor type ski mask, and nobody's questioning this whatsoever.
Yeah, walking into that store, with them just getting the ski mask and everything like that, I don't even understand why did this guy keep going to court. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but like I said before, when we talked about this before, it's crazy that, and I'm not bringing up this case, but it's crazy that Rittenhouse just blasted 3 people and walked away.
It's not the
and
same
Jussie, but Jussie hurt himself. And look at how much coverage this is getting. Of course, Chicago PD
I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah.
Come on, man. The dude is tying up the city's money, man. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Rittenhouse is what it is. I mean, nobody. I think with Rittenhouse, I think his mom should be in jail.
Whole other story.
I mean, I don't want to go into that.
Whole other story, guys.
But he should. All of them should be in jail. But again, with Jussie, man, this is absolutely ridiculous, man. The city of Chicago got enough problems as it is to be chasing around a hoax. It don't make any sense, man.
It doesn't. And the fact that he's sticking to it.
And he's wasting taxpayers' money to keep going back to court.
It got to be drugs.
Well, did you hear that part during the trial? Apparently, when he took the stand, I guess in defense of himself, he was saying that him and the African boys, man, the brothers, they went to a club and did some blow, and him and one of the brothers was getting it in. They went to a bathhouse. I got to take a deep breath. They went to a bathhouse, and they was, in his words, fooling around, I guess, or whatever. And then here we are.
Out there doing that booger sugar.
Then here we are, man. Like, this is disgusting, but it's just like the point.
Nasty dude.
Yeah, man. And then it's like, if you out here with these guys and they doing all of this stuff, man, why would you even? I think it's like you said earlier. I think it was something that they were doing that night, and it just got concocted up, and then it just
they was high.
They was high and made a plan.
That night. They decided to do that. And when they woke up in the morning, it was like, wait a minute, we went too far. We went too far, man.
It's just really crazy that this happened. It's just really crazy to me. Like, it's crazy that he continued with the story. It's crazy that there's even a trial going on for him putting a noose around his own neck. Like, it's just way too much.
Ridiculous, man.
It's way too much.
And then it's something that we always talk about between ourselves, man, is that police brutality, racist acts where people getting hurt and stuff like that is a very serious thing, man. And for somebody to create a hoax like this, you know what I mean? And then he has so many people behind him. Now it kind of puts people on the, a lot of other races on the back, and I'm like, oh, see, they, a lot of stuff they say ain't serious. This is not real. They don't, a lot of Caucasian people don't believe a lot of this police brutality stuff and whatever, you know what I mean? So this is one of those things that might lead somebody of that mindset to see, like, yo, they it's all full of crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's the sad thing about that dude, man. And it's just again, I think he was just they just had a nasty night between themselves and woke up and after they put their foolishness out and realized, like, oh snap, we went too far. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm gonna throw something out there that's gonna sound crazy. Do you think he owes a public apology to MAGA?
Listen, man, I think the guy actually owes the city of Chicago every dime that they charge for whatever the whole trial process is.
He got like a $25,000 fine.
Forget that. It's more than that.
I would think it's more than that too.
It's much more than that.
Of course. Because you got to pay people's salaries. Like they had to come into work. They had to come in the court. The whole court had to come in for this.
Yeah, they when they was doing this case, they pulled all stops on the police.
Yeah.
They stopped pretty much everything in Chicago to follow this foolishness. And that's why a lot of people in Chicago was upset. And like Dave Chappelle said, it's like right off the bat, you know, regular black people, I mean, we give anybody the benefit of the doubt, but regular black people was like, something shaky with this.
Right.
Right off the bat, you just say, I don't know about this, man. What we know about black people is that ain't nobody out robbing nobody. What we know in the hood, ain't nobody out robbing nobody in the cold at 2 o'clock. Black people, people in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
People in the house. And ain't nobody white running around until 2 o'clock in the morning in Chicago at nighttime.
This is funny. I just seen one of those.
Subway.
Yeah.
The whole Subway sandwich thing is just killing me too. Like Subway, out of all places to eat, you go to Subway's in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
And
Have you ever woke up with a craving in the middle of the night for a Subway sandwich?
Never Subway. Never for Subway.
And the sad part about it, it's like he in Chicago. It ain't like you know how in New York, there's a smorgasbord of things that you can get from a restaurant at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He decided he wanted Subway.
Man, I ate on a late night last night. And I had macaroni and cheese, greens. You know what I mean?
I got it in Chicago.
But not a Subway sandwich.
Ain't nobody want no Subway sandwich at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, man. Jussie was out there doing Jussie.
That's right. I saw a comment that's funny. It says, at least he can rest comfortably knowing his attacker was convicted.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This man actually hurt himself. And if it's over his salary, I'm telling you, it's because, you know, he used to date Lee Daniels.
But he don't have a job, right? Like, wasn't the show, is it a show off the air or something like that?
It's off the air, yeah.
Lee Daniels got so much money, man. He ain't worried about Jussie Smollett and all this.
Now, you know, Lee Daniels was actually backing him when he first heard the story.
Yeah, he was.
And he was embarrassed after he found out it was, you know, he put
everybody dropped him after that. Even Robin, what's her name?
Robin Roberts didn't want to interview him.
Got the heck up out of here after that.
She didn't really want to interview him. Like she did the sit down with him.
I didn't even watch that.
Yeah.
That's when watch that.
Hold on. We're gonna pull that one up. But y'all keep talking amongst yourselves. But
I think he's doing all this for a fun boy vacation. He's trying to get in jail, man.
Wow.
Wow.
He doing all this so he could get a little 7 months.
I'm gonna throw this at you. I don't think he's gonna do a day in jail. I think it's gonna be all probation.
You know what though? I honestly believe they say you can't really put anybody in jail for I forgot what they call it.
Hurting themselves?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't put anybody in jail. They say it's very rare that you put anybody in jail for perjury, but I think they're going to make an exception for him.
You think so?
Because you
think he's going to make an example out of him?
The city is ticked off, man. He's spent a lot. Not only did he do this, he's continuing it.
Yeah, because they're trying to file an appeal. It's like, why would you file an appeal when it was cut and dry that you faked the whole thing? The brothers came and testified against you. They got surveillance of them buying the stuff. They got everything that they need to throw you, under the bus. So why would you continue to say, well, I was telling them earlier, I said, that maybe he's just delusional. You know what I mean? Or he just want to carry this lie all the way out.
How far would this have gone if it wasn't Jussie? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was just a regular person.
It would never make the news.
It would, and it probably happens all the time.
Well, he had links to Kamala Harris and all of them, if I remember correctly.
Well, if you listen to the Robin Roberts interview, I think you can compare this off to like Tupac or something like that.
He said he's the gay Tupac.
He said gay pop. Yeah.
So what happens is, I think that what his whole thing is he wanted to be like the, I guess the poster child.
It's the drugs, yo.
Something.
He wanted to be the Malcolm X of homos. That's what he wanted to be.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the Malcolm X of homosexuals, man. He was telling like homosexuals to physically fight back. That's what he was trying to be, man.
All right, so check this out, y'all. We're gonna pull up the Robin Roberts joint in a second, but this is the actual thing coming from ABC News, where they talk about him being found guilty. Excuse me, fumbling over my words.
Just in the trial of actor Jussie Smollett, found guilty on 5 of 6 counts after 9 hours of deliberations. Smollett had been charged with filing a false police report in 2019 and several other counts after claiming he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. Prosecutors say he staged it all. Two brothers, former extras on the TV program Empire, claim Smollett paid them to fake the attack.
What more do you need? What more do you need?
Juicy.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, with that being said, you can't just go by somebody else's word. So they had to kind of like figure it out. Just because of course the brothers was in trouble. So
they did, and the whole thing though. But listen to this though, and the whole thing that he identified one white man that actually attacked him. Did he give a description or anything like that?
People can't see what we're seeing, but they have the tape of the guys buying the mask, the gloves, the red hat. They got him walking down the block the same night he's walking down the block. Matter of fact, they walked down the block twice. The police in one of those videos said that they believe that Jussie didn't show up on time. So they basically walked back up and down until he got out there. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's too much.
Come on, man.
So, you know, do you think they will even go through and appeal this thing? Like, is it even a reason to appeal this?
Well,
yes,
I don't know.
It's the drugs.
Well, for him, I think
you think it's the drugs?
It's drugs.
I think his career is over, and I think he's somewhat of a prima donna. So he got to find a way to keep himself in the newspapers, and he's doing that by any means necessary.
I wonder what his Instagram page looks like. Does he still have it up?
He'd be a fool if he did.
I don't know, man.
He'd be a fool if he did.
I don't know, man. I don't.
In fact, I don't even think I would want to see a Jussie Smollett Instagram page.
I've never watched. I think I watched like the first episode of Empire, which I liked it because I like when Lucius. I don't say he should have put.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I don't say he should have put his son in the garbage. But I respected him for not liking his kid, his son wearing them doggone women's shoes. He wilded out like most men should.
I mean,
he should have put his son in the garbage. No, he shouldn't have. But you know, I grew up, and you know, I had cousins and whatnot, boys that have tried to put on shoes or whatever like that. My uncle's like, "Yo, get that off of your feet," that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I understand that. I respect that. I'm not saying that nobody should beat any kid up or anything like that for doing that, but you know, or hurt any child. But you know, when you see a little boy going the wrong way or a little girl going the wrong way, you should address it. Putting them in the garbage was a little extreme, but that was the last episode I watched Empire.
That was the first episode.
Never seen that episode.
First and last.
Man, it got to be a bit too much for me. There was this one scene like where like a whole bunch of homosexuals surrounded Jussie, and they were saying that he flip-flopped because he messed with a chick, and the chick could have possibly been pregnant. They was throwing flip-flops up in the air and doing this little dance, and I said, I don't think I'm gonna watch this any longer.
Did the show pretty much revolve around him being like?
Well, for you to say you don't do gay TV is crazy because every show has a gay person on it. I don't care what show it is.
I'm not saying, yeah, you're right. I'm not saying that, but when it gets to that fun boy business, man, like if the whole episode is just laced with homosexual stuff, I just can't do it.
It's just like, every show. It's not one show that I've watched where somebody hasn't popped up gay. Like, it had to be somebody gay on BMF. If I sit here and think about it long enough, I could probably come up with who it was.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, that we obviously live in this world. We can't even watch TV without seeing somebody homosexual on television.
Right.
You know, but I would say I'm not, like, I'll give you an example, like Oz. I remember I used to watch Oz. When Oz got to a point where it was just getting too crazy, I was just like, I can't do it.
I mean, I can understand that because I get frustrated too sometimes. It's like it's almost being forced on us. And my thing is, if that's your lifestyle and that's the way you live, cool. But it doesn't have to be thrown in my face. You know what? I think at this moment we could say we actually feel as though how white people felt when they watched TV and they had to see that one token black on every show. They probably was sitting at home like, every time I turn around, it's a black person on the TV. You know what I'm saying?
The sad part about it is that there's millions of shows right now on TV where you don't see any African Americans or any Hispanics or anything. It's a lot of shows that's still on TV that's just all white. You know what I mean? You might see maybe a sprinkle of color there or whatever like that, but there's no main character in a lot of shows. That a lot of them are just all lily white.
Stop the presses, guys. Hold on.
But you got to get your gaze in it.
Donald Trump, according to the DailyMail.com, has responded to Jussie's conviction.
Now he gonna respond to Jussie.
Hey, before you play it, let me tell you something about the Trumps. I don't like the Trumps. I don't like them. One thing about the Trumps is we know that he's a man,
and he's reckless.
Well,
with his mouth.
I don't like him.
It's not a clip involved in this one, so this is coming from
Trump's to stop that bathroom garbage with the women. Go ahead.
Well, it's coming from the DailyMail.com. Y'all can check it out yourself. It says this is Donald Trump speaking. If he were a Republican, he'd be in jail for 25 years. Trump calls Jussie Smollett's fake MAGA race attack a hate crime in reverse following the actor's guilty verdict. Now, do you think that is? I mean, in all fairness, I mean, you can feel how you feel about Trump, MAGA, whatever. What do y'all think about that?
I don't think it's that extreme. You know, Trump won't take it crazy anyway, but I don't think it's that extreme. But I do think that for the rest of the people that come out here and try to do this kind of stuff, they should make an example out of him. He should be, not that he got to go to jail forever. I think he should be fined out the wazoo for putting that court system through that issue. That's what I think.
Yeah, so Trump said he was
waste the taxpayers' money.
Yeah, Trump says he was the con man, and he wanted to try to get sympathy so he could have his contract renewed for his ridiculous television series. So that didn't work out too well. And on top of this is Trump thinking,
Trump is a jerk.
And then on top of it, he got caught. And you know,
Trump is like a battle rapper, man. Yeah. He just get right up in there, man.
Hold on. He said, and you know, it's interesting. He wouldn't have been caught except that he pressed it all the way. He pressed it too far. This is Donald Trump speaking. What do we think? Is some truth to it? Do you think he went too far? And you know what I mean?
That's what we've been saying. He you know, again, he took some. He shouldn't have never did it in the first place. But the fact that he pushed it this far is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm going to say it again. It's the drugs.
You think he was high? You know,
yes.
Even during the trial, and because he's admitted that he does coke.
He was high. This is drugs. I see it all the time. You know, what's so crazy? When I was living in Delaware, I know it was probably, it's a lot of drugs out there. We all know this. But I didn't really see, or maybe I didn't recognize all the cokeheads. But in New York, it's a lot of cokeheads.
Yeah, but you know what it is? And I said it before, man, me and Mike was talking, man. It's them intellectual fun boys, man. They like to get in a room somewhere and take out all of them happy drugs. They don't do just weed, man. They just get in there and get crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? They taking everything.
Right.
They like it's like the children of Truman Capote.
Well, they say that, when you have a certain amount of, even in the entertainment world, you have a certain amount of money, you know what I mean? And you like a specific drug, you're going to smoke the best weed. You feel me? You're going to smoke, and then it's not going to be enough for you. So you're going to go and find the best coke. You know what I mean? And then that's not enough for you. Listen, look at these dudes. They sleep with 1,000 women because they're stars. You know what I'm saying? At some point, that is not enough for them.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think he was just trying to keep his name going. The show was over.
Because they wrote him off. He didn't do the last season. They wrote him off. See, that's what I'm saying. Him and Lee Daniels used to go together. And
right, but the point was the show was over. That was it for him.
No, but you're not listening to me.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Go ahead.
I'm saying him and Lee Daniels got into a fight. They got into an argument, okay? And then he said, well, guess what? This is my show, so I'm writing you off. So Juicy like, no, Lee, please don't do this, don't do this. So then he started messing with the Africans.
Hey,
So
listen,
wait, is that based on is that just a speculation? Is that speculation or is that fact?
It sounded good, right?
It sounded good.
I think that's
yeah,
what happened.
it sound good, but yeah, like
fights on here, man.
yeah, I could care less. I could care less about Lee Daniels' relationship with this guy. I'm more like, look, man, you wasted the court time, you embarrassed yourself, you wasted air time, and like they were saying right here, because you know he was back when he first put the thing out that he was backed by Biden and Harris, and they supported him. You know what I mean? So
because that would be, of course they would. They ain't have nothing to do with MAGA. That was Trump. You know what I mean? Of course Trump's gonna hate him, and the opposition is gonna ride with him. But with the thing is, I felt bad at first. You know what I'm saying? But it sounded funny to me from the beginning.
No, that's the thing. You say you felt bad at first, but if you look at it and listen to the story right off the rip, you knew that was a lie. You know what I mean? Right off the rip.
This dude said they poured bleach on him.
Exactly, but we should be mad. We should be mad. Listen, we should be mad. Right? We should be mad for the simple fact that when they got to his house, he was still standing there with the noose around his neck.
He put the noose back on.
He
put it back on. He put it back on.
He put it back on.
Yeah, he put it back on because he wanted them to see. That's what it said in the clip.
Drugs. It is the drugs. It is the drugs. I'm trying to tell you. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. I'm trying to tell you.
It came straight from Bolivia.
Yeah. Right. Right. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to hear about it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to hear about it no more. Like, I'm tired. And I don't know if he's gonna do time. Maybe that's what he was working towards getting. Yeah, maybe he's like, if I can't act, I'll just go to jail.
That would be a stupid piece of logic right there. But
let me tell you something. How can you hurt him? Put him in the Cook County jail? How can you hurt him?
You can't.
That's like sending a man to a all-women's prison.
That man he would never be in a general population. That wouldn't happen.
He would be great. He would probably run the jail cell.
Nah.
You know, them them gays, actually, a lot of them are in charge of prison. They run prison.
I don't know where Andre's about to go with this. So
no. When I say that, I mean that, like, from people that I know that been in jail, they'll tell you, like, a lot of homosexuals, not in a physical manner, but because of the sexual aspect of it, they control a lot in prison. They control a lot in prison. He's a high commodity in prison.
Wow.
He ain't gonna have no problem in prison.
Oh my goodness.
Seriously, he ain't gonna have no problem in prison.
It's funny how even in this that they blame Trump because they asked the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, said during a briefing on Friday, in the Thursday.
That's the old one, yeah, back then.
Well, no. That's
recent.
No, this is the conviction they're talking about. So she had the briefing on Friday, but somebody brought up a question about his conviction on Thursday. It said, since the guilty verdict, are there any lessons learned here on rushing to judgment when a crime is alleged? This is what somebody was asking the White House press secretary. And she replied that there are lessons learned perhaps for everybody who commented at the time including, I'm sorry, let me take this back. There are lessons learned perhaps for everybody who commented at the time, including former President Trump. Now, I guess they're asking this because, again, Biden and Harris actually, supported this kid when all this went down. You know what I mean? So then it's like you turn around and everything you said was a lie. So she's saying, the person is asking her, like, should you be rushing to support anything that's alleged? Because that can go back to Me Too. That can go back to a lot of things. So this is a question I'm asking. Like, do you think that?
Well, I think they're all right in regards to that, man. Because I find that out myself recently. Like, a lot of times you'll see something and off of eye value, you'd be like, wow, that looks like he did wrong. You know what I mean? But everybody should take a step back and say, well, give it a second and let's see what will really come out of it. You know what I mean? So I kind of respect that.
What do you think, Josh? What do you think?
We're just talking about what I value. Like, we got the internet now. Like, I'll give an example. I'll give you a perfect example. The kid, the rapper years ago, Troy Ave. Yeah. I saw the thing of him initially shooting up the club. I said, oh, he's an idiot. You know what I mean? But as I later go on into the story to find out, he wrestled the gun from the person that pulled the gun on him and basically had to shoot his way out of the club in so many ways. You know what I mean? So looking at it from a different aspect.
But initially when you first saw it, you was like, you know, he messed up. Like, he did something wrong. I know, but that has a lot to do with like the media. You know what I mean? When we first receive information, it's like impressionable. Like we automatically we like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Like, and we don't know the full story. We just know how it's presented to us.
So that's like that. Well, this is like the past few years, though. This is how you get the whole cancel culture situation. So, you know, do you think a lot of those things was rushed to judgment or not hearing the other person's side fully? Because, like I said, on a surface level, in this particular case, we know that, you know, from the get-go, that was a lie. Like the way the whole thing was set up, the way the story is presented. But then there's other cases where everything is alleged. And again, I don't want to say that if a person, you know, is out here molesting people or raping people or whatever, and you come back 16 years later. In fact, I give you a good example. So you'll know the whole thing with Chris Cuomo going on, and he lost the show and his, you know, his radio show and all for helping his brother, pretty much. If you want to, it's open to interpretation about how you determine it being help, because it was a question of his journalistic integrity. But at the end of the day, it's his brother. But they also had a woman who came back, I think it's like 16 years later, who claimed that, you know, Chris Cuomo, the brother, must have allegedly sexually assaulted her or something of that nature. And, you know, she works at a different network, but this is 16 years later. You know what I mean? So it's not like they work together. It's not like this happened yesterday or it happened, you know, it's all coming to light around the same time everything else is crumbling around them. You know what I mean? So when you look at that and so many cases like it, do you go back and say, well, retroactively 16 years ago, 25 years ago, it was alleged that he did this without any proof, but we already throw him under the bus. Bill Cosby, you know what I mean? We can always go back to that. So like when we're saying rush to judgment, do you need to hear everybody else's side? The Governor Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo. So do you need to rush to judgment, or do you just hear the other side?
I feel like, in all fairness, everybody's side, even if we knew that it was a bunch of BS, everybody should be given a fair chance to state their case.
But are they really, though? I mean, if you really look at today's times, or do you really think that Bill had a fair shake in terms of that? Or do you think that Andrew Cuomo had a fair shake in that?
Definitely not. And, you know, as far as Bill Cosby is concerned, that's a whole nother story. You know, I have a problem.
Go ahead.
I just have a problem with the I don't know how to say this the right way. I'm not gonna get too personal or nothing like that, but the Me Too movement, I understand the importance of it, and I'm not saying that you know, if anything did happen to those women, I would, you know, I truly apologize, but it just sounded crazy to me, you know, because you're convicted. First of all, he couldn't even.
I know what you're trying to say, and I
it's
think I
wrong.
got it.
Like, it's wrong. Like, and I don't understand why everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Like,
you know what
like,
it is?
I come out, and then everybody and their mother had the same thing happen to them. Nah, everybody want a little bit of money. That's what it is.
You know what? I had this conversation with some women at work one time, and I was saying that, you know, if Bill Cosby is wrong, que sera, sera. However, my issue is people getting arrested on public opinion. You know what I mean? People going to jail over public opinion. And I don't like that, because basically what happens is I might never do nothing. But if I could find one person to say, you know, I did something wrong, or she said, you know, or she might be lying, and I might be a public figure. And then every other woman that I probably did wrong several years ago is probably going to get on that same bandwagon. And no matter what I do in court, even if I beat the case, that nasty stain is going to be on my life for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Without even actually having any DNA evidence, any actual proof. It's just public opinion on what, you know what I mean?
I that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
Exactly what I was trying to say right there. That's my point. And I just, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like even with this Cuomo situation, you know, the girl said, oh, he put his hands down my shirt. Now he is a New Yorker, right?
I get
Everything, he knows that his camera's all where he's at. Do you really think that I don't believe all of this.
He's the governor of New York, not just a New Yorker.
But you know what's funny? I don't
was the governor, excuse me.
I don't know a lot about the Chris Cuomo situation, but I was looking at the news one time.
No, I was talking about Mario.
Yeah, well,
you're talking about old Mario. That's years. years.
Yeah. But the latest one, he's actually sitting down with this woman in a very compromising photo. And it looks real weird, man. Like she don't look like she mind being
with his arm around her or whatever, or that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not. Whatever he did wrong is not right. But I'm just saying I'll give an example. Like I think that the lady that Bill Cosby got his situation for, I don't know what he did with everybody else, but he got like 20 phone conversations with this lady, if I remember correctly.
And she kept flying back over there to be with him.
Just flying a family back and forth places.
Yeah.
It seemed a little weird. It seemed something weird about that case. And again, I don't know, you know, I didn't watch I didn't read his deposition or anything like that, but I don't know. Like, I think it was one time they were saying like, yeah, like 20 phone calls from this girl on Valentine's Day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's weird, man.
Come on now. Like, come on. You know, and and that's what I'm saying. Like, and then when she said her, it just seemed like it was just so many women coming out the woodworks. Didn't Caitlyn Jenner say something and he tried to talk to her too? No. It was that lady. I can't think of that. I can't think of that lady's name with the dark hair. I can't think of that lady's name, but she, like, everybody just jumped on the bandwagon. I'm like, come on, man, that's wrong.
Yeah, man.
It's wrong. Because something like that is.
I'm not saying that he did. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm just saying, again, I just don't like that whole public opinion thing. You know, where it's like,
yeah, you know,
to be honest with you, you had, for instance, you go out with Kamitra, and you and her get into it. Y'all don't like each other, whatever the case may be. She decided to say, "Yo, listen, yo, he's a nut. He raped me. Blah 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 blah. This and that." It might not have never happened.
Right. But he's gonna go to jail.
Yeah, because I mean, like bringing it back to this, man. Because I'm looking at as y'all talking, I'm looking at all the tweets this guy in support of him, Jussie Smollett got.
Who?
In 2019, Jussie got, man. So
Jussie,
he getting it from everybody. So for instance, right? Because this stuff now, because of the facts is the facts and the truth is the truth, and every one of these people respect court opinion. This is all embarrassing. Bernie Sanders said, this is in a tweet, the racist and homophobic attack on Jussie Smollett is a horrific instance of the surging hostility towards minorities around the country. We must come together to eradicate all forms of bigotry and violence, right? In fact, I'm going to just go straight down. This is Nancy Pelosi. The racist homophobic attack on Jussie Smollett is an affront to our humanity. No one should be attacked for who they are or whom they love. I pray that Jussie has a speedy recovery and that justice is served. May we all commit to ending this hate once and for all. And of course, let me see what they have here. The commanding chief here says, what happened today, now this is 2019, what happened today to Jussie Smollett must never be tolerated in this country. We must stand up and demand that we no longer give this hate safe harbor. This hate safe harbor. That homophobia and racism have no place on our streets or in our hearts. We are with you, Jussie. Kamala Harris. He's one of the kindest, most gentle human beings I know. I'm praying for his quick recovery. This was an attempted modern day lynching. This is from Kamala Harris. No one should have to fear for their life because of their sexuality or color of their skin. We must confront this hate. Now, these people got to look at all of these tweets.
Right, though.
I mean, if the situation was correct. So what happens is that if you go back to all of these tweets and now this guy lied, you know what I mean? It sounds, I mean, you might have believed it before, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You know, do you jump to judgment even though the stuff is alleged?
I'm gonna tell you what's sad is that about this topic is that if you watch Jussie and Robin Roberts' interview, in that interview, they ain't talking about black people. They're talking about their race is gay.
Facts.
You know what I mean? They're not promoting this as no like Emmett Till kind of thing. They're promoting it as like this is like a gay issue. Mm-hmm. Even Robin Roberts referred in that thing that saying that she had I think at one time she was saying she had conflict of interest of doing it, the interview, and kind of being harsh on them because she was saying she was going against her own people, not meaning black people.
Gay.
Yeah.
Gay people.
Gay people.
Wow.
Forget about the black people who she actually come from, who actually the Afrocentric people that she actually come from. Forget about them, and knowing in the back of her mind that racism, black people being lynched is a real thing. Forget about that. Her thought process is towards her new race. No, even knowing in the back of her mind, Afrocentric Robin that grew up in a black community knows that if this sounds funny to me, I shouldn't do it because it's a disrespect to the people who have really been lynched and gone through some real issues. I need to be more focused on my new gay family or my so-called gay community or whatever the case may be, and put that over, you know, what's really going on. That's crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy. So and then they got mad because black people didn't support it, but black people didn't support it because they didn't believe it. Number one, and number two, they didn't promote it like that.
Yeah, it wasn't an attack on it wasn't an attack on like just black people, because when you're looking at MAGA and all of that, that was more like a racial issue than it was a sexual orientation issue. But they didn't look at it like that. So from what you was just talking about, I'm gonna find a clip for that. In fact, I think I have it.
We are girls forever. We're gonna have the biggest.
These doggone commercials are killing.
Homeowners, if you are sick of paying too much money for,
yeah, they promoted it as if it was a gay issue. It wasn't promoted as if it was like something that it was towards African American people. You know what I mean? So, and then now that it's all over, it's against us. It's on us now.
All right, so I got the clip that you're speaking about. Robin Roberts has revealed that she saw red flags in Jussie Smollett's version of his story. All right, this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter News, guys.
Smollett's version of events surrounding the hate crime he allegedly suffered.
I'm going to bring this back. Hold on. Make sure you get the full context.
Robin Roberts has revealed that she saw red flags in Jussie Smollett's version of events surrounding the hate crime he allegedly suffered, and for which he has since been charged with falsifying a police report. Roberts says that she was hesitant about interviewing the actor on ABC's Good Morning America for what would be his first televised sit-down since the alleged attack. The conversation aired on February 14th, and Smollett was charged with a Class 4 felony a week later. On Monday, during the Cut's first day-long How I Get It Done event, Roberts shared her thoughts on the high-profile interview and whether she believed Smollett during the process. All I wanted was to get to the truth, Roberts said. All I wanted was to give the truth. While discussing details of the interview, which was shot 2 days prior to its airing, Roberts explained that when the GMA booking department had initially reached out to her about sitting down with Smollett, Roberts was reluctant. I'll be completely honest. I said, I don't know if I'm going to do the interview or not, she said. Let's just wait and see. Let's see if more information comes in. At the time of the interview, speculation was rising that Smollett's version of events may not have been entirely truthful, but it wasn't until hours after the interview aired that a report broke that brothers Ola and Abel Osundairo, who are now witnesses in the Chicago Police Department's case, were allegedly paid by Smollett to stage the attack. Roberts noted that comments made by Smollett during a Los Angeles concert in the days following his alleged attack made her further question whether she should go through with the sit-down. She was adamant that interviewing Smollett made no sense if he was just going to lawyer up or refuse to be candid. Roberts clarified to THR that her decision to talk with Smollett was contingent upon him sharing details that hadn't previously been reported, which would make the interview newsworthy. If there wasn't going to be anything new, I didn't really want to do it, she said. According to Roberts, Smollett's team said that the actor was okay with being challenged on what Roberts saw as red flags, but that he'd also say things he hadn't already said elsewhere. Said the GMA anchor, "I'm like, as a journalist and as a news person, this is his right. He's going on the record for the first time. Yes, I'll do the interview." Roberts explained that her GMA team went through the police report and conducted further research to prepare for the interview, and admitted during the panel that she wasn't sure how it was going to go or how Smollett was going to react, but that she consciously worked to be as neutral as possible. She also was aware of her own identity as a gay black woman and how reporting on Smollett, a gay black man, might have been perceived. He's saying that it was a hate crime, Roberts said. So if I'm too hard on him, then people in my LGBTQ community are going, oh, you don't believe him. If I'm too light on him, then it's like, oh, because you're in the community, you're giving him a pass.
You see what we're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
that ain't about us.
Yeah,
it's about them.
It's pleasing your base.
It's pleasing the people that she's with, and she's saying basically the LGBT communities. Plight or whatever it is much more important than the Black American people that she come from.
So that's what it says. You know what? I kind of take two things from this, because the first thing, going back on that particular clip, when he said that she didn't want to report on it until all the facts came in.
Yeah, that was a red flag right there.
That's a red flag right there. So just to say that, I mean, that's with any story until all the facts come in. So again, it goes back. You know, do you jump to conclusion on a matter based on alleged statements? You know what I mean? Because all the facts are not in. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Understand this. We who sit home knew that was weird. She who sits in as a newscaster, you know, interviewer and stuff like that, she's privy to a whole bunch of information that we're not privy to. So she knew behind closed doors, you know, a little bit more than we know. You know what I mean? And again, to say that, I mean, me personally, I'm just me, you know, Andre Ben, Black human being, born in Brooklyn, New York, Black parents. I don't understand how you can just negate the fact that, you know, all of the people that have been lynched and, you know, gone through all kinds of other stuff in this world, to take a chance on something like that when you know it's fugazi.
And like I said, meanwhile, you know, you have the Ahmaud Arbery's, you have people who are actually being lynched. That I took out of that is the fact that she felt the need. This is Robin Roberts. Am I going to offend my community? Either way I go with this story. So if that's the case, then, you know, how does all news outlets and anchors and reporters feel when they're reporting about their community? You know what I mean? Is this stuff getting twisted? Is, you know what I mean? Like, are you afraid if I don't say it this way, then I'm going to get, you know, thrown out by my community, or if I say it this way, you know what I mean?
And they do stuff all the time to go against the Black community. Most of these reporters, they do it all the time. They don't give 2 cents about what they do to go against us. You know what I mean? But when it comes to that LGBTQ, QZY, whatever you want to call it, they're so loyal to it.
Yeah, well, it's sad that they're forced to be reckoned with, because it doesn't matter what color they are. That's it's almost like they have their own race right now. Yeah. And they're strong. They stick together. If we as Black people was to be that tight, you know what I'm saying? So many things would be different, because they really did fight from Stonewall all the way up. When they fought the cops back at Stonewall, they really did fight. They fought for their rights. They really did. Regardless of how we look at the situation.
Hold on. Let me just quickly say this, man. That Stonewall garbage is a bull crap. But it's just a bunch of me personally. We got to wrap it up because it's getting a little late.
Yeah.
But I would say this with that Stonewall. Somebody need to Google that. We should do a show on Stonewall, man.
Well, no, I don't want to do a show on Stonewall with you. No, I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it, well?
Let me tell you briefly.
the way they paint Stonewall is just like it's Selma, Alabama or something like that. Man, get out of here, man. There's a bunch of if I remember correctly, there's a bunch of gays that got loose in the village.
I mean, judging from the documentaries that I've seen about Stonewall, a lot of them don't really know how the riot started. But like you said, that's a whole separate story. I don't even want to touch into it. So we
can pull that up.
We're gonna pull that probably soon. All right. So in closing, what do we think?
Hey,
juicy fruit.
Juicy.
Juicy out here, man. You better stop playing around with that Cook County. Well, I mean, he might like going to Cook County jail, but you better stop playing around with them until they're gonna hit him up with some fines that's gonna hurt him.
Well, I mean, the 25,000 is what it, but he better stop appealing this stuff. Whatever, the lawyers need to sit him down because it's clear cut. It's a lie. And the only thing that I say, really, and this is just me, is that there's some people out there that's burying their babies because some racist dogs truly lynched them. And for you to even put this on, just to say it was a racist attack or whatever, just to cape for that, like you should be fined and all just for your stupidity alone.
I think you're gonna do some jail time.
Well, they saying what? 5 out of 6. He got 5 out of 6 counts.
They're saying the most he could do is 3 months, man. And I normally would say he not.
No, they talking about years.
But they were saying like the only count they think, I was listening to something and saying the only thing that they think they could do him on is perjury, and they're saying it's hard to do perjury, but it's really up to like the judge's discretion or something like that. And I think they might do it for him just to say stop playing with us.
Yeah, they said 3 years. 3 years, man. So I don't know if he'd do 3 years, to be honest with you. But
oh no, he ain't doing no 3 years. He do a couple of. I'll give him a little R&R. give him a little 1 month joint or something like that.
Goodness.
But the joint is, well, actually, and I don't want to hold this any longer than it needs to, but they actually did release him. I think his actual sentencing is January 27th, if I'm correct. Y'all can look that up. But January 27th is when you're going to know where he at with it. So us on Instagram and Twitter at The Only One Mike P1, Facebook and LinkedIn, The Only One Mike Podcast is where you can find us. Hit us up on email, theonlyonemike00@gmail.com. Leave your comments, y'all. So as always, I say, speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. Brooklyn Dre, JusMe. Good to have y'all back. Hey, and this one for the listeners. Thank you for making time for us, and we hope you enjoyed our company. Is the door over there? We'll show ourselves out. Peace.
Peace.